All right, Miller, you got a lot of horses in your barn. What's the toughest one, biggest and most difficult assignment you have getting them out there and getting them going?
Probably a young trotter. You get a little foul-gated trotter or a trotter that's not real sound. They're a little tough to get balanced out and kind of get things going the right direction. But the breeding today makes most of them pretty easy to train.
How about a horse you get that comes into your barn that's strictly a front runner? Can you teach him to race him off the pace?
Yeah, one of my biggest things is I don't know if I can teach him to race from off the pace, but I hate a horse that pulls every day around the barn and just gets you all, stays too fired up. If they don't relax, they normally can't do too well or get caught on the front end all the time. So.
Is that something we got to teach them early in their career to do? Sometimes they're not taught?
Yeah, then some of it is just making them happy. Like a horse will got front feet stinging him or got something bothering him pretty good. That gets them a little excited, and then they just pull and put the bit strong in their mouth. If you can kind of sound them up, make sure they're a little healthier that way, they'll be a little better.
A horse that flips his palate. That's a difficult horse. If you get them to go a good race or two, that doesn't mean they're going to keep going good. It's an inconsistent type of a horse, and it's probably the biggest problem that most trainers deal with.
When a horse cuts off his air, doesn't like the driver, when he come back and tell you, isn't there a surgery done on that?
There's surgery. There's a lot of things you can do rigging-wise, and that's just a Band-Aid. Nothing really works the same on every horse. You can have horses that it's perfect on and you never have another issue, but generally speaking, it's a difficult thing to overcome and eliminate.
Are there horses who are real bad to deal with during the week, but once they get on the racetrack, they're totally different?
Well, you do see different types of horses do different things, and the key really is driver feedback, I believe. It's important to know if a horse drives on a certain line. You'll have horses that'll run on the left line all week real hard, and in a race situation, they'll go the other way on you, and you need to know those type of things.
I think training a baby is, making sure they're gated right and splits are right and getting company and everything. That'd be my guess.
So like educating them is the toughest thing?
Yeah, definitely. It's hard.
How about a young trotter who doesn't like to trot? How about that?
You got a long work ahead of you. Long way to go. Just got to work with them a lot, change your shoeing, and see how it works out.
And you never know, they could turn out to be another Lucky Jim.
Could be. There's a lot of them in the making.
Probably a slow horse, because they're usually slow for a reason and are really hard to make them go fast if they're slow.
But I remember you told me a few years ago, maybe 8-9 years ago, that you had some horses eligible for the Hambletonian. And I asked you, and you said, hey, I wasted money on worse things than this, so you got to take some shots early on with some horses, regardless of whether or not they got big-time ability.
Well, if they show some speed, you can, but if they're slow, there ain't much going to do with slow. But if they got some speed, you always got to take a shot that way, but you can't teach them speed.
Any horse with bad manners, I think. It's pretty hard to get them under control,
Bad manners, is that something they develop early, then you can't change, or is it something that can develop at any point?
Unfortunately, mostly they develop at an early age, I think, but it can happen any time, bad experience.
Now, horses who come from Australia and New Zealand, traditionally, are they well behaved? Did it take a while to get the hang of it here, or what?
Well, that's a good question, because a lot of horses seem to leave down there apparently with good manners, and they get here and they get a little crazy. And we've never really worked out why, but sometimes I think maybe it's the flight over. They don't get enough oxygen or something. I don't know, but they get nuts when they get here, that's for sure.